Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Khalie, and today I am recording a video because I get so many questions. Like, anytime anybody comes into my inbox, they ask me the same questions, and so I figured if I made a video about it, then I could just be like, here you go, you can watch all of this, you get all the information. This video, obviously by the title, is going to be about me teaching English here in the United Arab Emirates. Specifically, I'm in Ras Al Khaimah. So I wanted to answer a bunch of questions that people have been having, and also questions that I had as well when I was researching where I wanted to go. I didn't find a lot of videos with a woman of color talking about this specific country. You know, a lot of people talking about China and Spain and going to all these other places, but for the UAE, the selection was quite limited. So I wrote down some things that I want to talk to you about, and anything that I did not mention or that you still have questions about, please just list it below and I can go more in depth, because I'm here, I could talk about this all day, but I didn't want this to be like an hour-long video, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and let's get started. Okay, so again, I'm in the United Arab Emirates, and the emirate that I'm in is Ras Al Khaimah. There are 7 emirates. Don't make me name them all right now, but there are 7. And where you want to start is, the way that I found out that I wanted to be here was, this was a country that had a culture I could get behind, like something I knew that I could fit in with, I could live in, and still be myself. This was a place that for me was going to pay the most with my experience and with the type of teaching that I wanted to do, which I'll get into that. So that's just kind of where I started, was just the internet and researching salaries of all of the countries, and with the amount of experience that I have, which this is my 2nd year teaching, just where it was that I could make the most and still be able to have a life and save money, right? So that's how I chose this country. As far as the interview process, I applied with several companies. Now, when you come to this country, a lot of places want you to have 2 years of experience. And like I said, I only have 1 year of experience teaching English. I do have some other education, but as far as that goes, I was getting turned down for a lot of places because I didn't have 2 years. So I applied on teachaway.com, and I got an interview, and it was a phone interview originally, right? Because it's a different country, so they do it over the phone. They call you, ask you screening questions, make sure that you're fit. And the job that I had applied for wanted 2 years, but the lady I spoke with, she said, well, you don't have 2 years of experience, so what we can offer you is this teacher training program, and I can go on about that in a whole nother video if you want. So I agreed, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'd be happy to come to an interview. The interview on the phone was, like I said, just a screening process. And then after that, I had to drive to Houston. So I was living in Oklahoma City. I had to drive to Houston, which is 6 hours, so that I could have this interview. My cousin and my friend Jessica went with me. Shout out to you guys. They went with me, and we drove to Houston. I had my interview the next day, and what you had to do was you had to go to this hotel. You needed all of your documents. You needed a sample lesson that you were going to teach, and you had to take a test. So I was going to be an English teacher, and I took the English test with a bunch of other people. If you didn't pass the test, you didn't get to go to the interview, okay? So I'm just gonna let you know that right now. Like, don't be scared. If you know your stuff, you know your stuff, and it was fine. But if you don't pass the test, you don't make it to go and actually have your face-to-face interview. So I had my face-to-face interview, and because I only have 1 year of experience, they didn't want me to teach my lesson plan. She just wanted to see it and ask me some questions about it. Now, be careful about your lesson plans, okay? Because my lesson plan was on, like, the environment or something, like global warming. And she asked me, she said, well, what if the students say, well, Miss, Allah does this, and that's how the world is heating up, and just what he wants is what it's going to be. And so I just said, okay, and if that's what they want to believe, then that's more than fine. So just make sure that you tailor your lesson plans and the things that you're going to say to the culture that you're going to, because I wasn't even thinking about something like that, you know, that they wouldn't have global warming is a thing that they talk about out here. They do, which I found out once I got here, but when I was having my interview, you're just gonna get those kinds of questions. So just make your lesson plain, simple, and keep those kinds of things in mind. So I did the test, I had my interview, and then I went back to my hotel, we checked out, and I drove all the way back to Oklahoma City. Now, that was in, I believe March or April, and then in May, I heard back that I'd gotten the job, so I was like, ooh. I was so excited. It was in the middle of class that they called me. I told all my kids, I was like, hush. And so like I sat and I was on the phone and she was like, yeah, you got the job. And then after I got off the phone, all the students cheered and it was great. So that's how the interview process worked. And these things do take time. So if you're not a patient person, why are you teaching abroad? Chill out, wait, be patient, because these things do take time. So after that, I had to do a ton of paperwork. They wanted my transcripts. They wanted recommendation letters. They wanted my birth certificate, my social security card, my background check by a certain like federal and state police department. Like, it was just so many things and so much paperwork that you have to go through. You have to get it all authenticated because they want to make sure that you got your degrees from a place that they deem reputable, right? Because in America, there's so many places you can get a degree. Phoenix Online, everybody has some sort of online program, but they want it to be a program that they believe is reputable. And so you have to get all your documents authenticated. And that took me some time. So I actually didn't get to come here until the end of October. Okay, so March, April interview, May found out I got the job. I didn't get here until October. So that was kind of the timeline. It does take time. If you're on top of your documents and you get your things in a lot faster, then you're not gonna have to worry about it taking as much time as it did, but I enjoyed the time home while I had it. As far as requirements, so in order to be a teacher here, you have to have a bachelor's degree and they'd like you to have some experience, but if you don't, like I said, you can do that teacher training program that I did, and that was only 4 weeks for the English program. It was only 4 weeks of training. And I didn't learn anything that I didn't have. I also have my master's. That's what I was gonna say. I haven't learned anything in that program that I didn't learn in my master's program. But if you don't have a master's in teaching English as a second language like I do, then you're going to find it very helpful. So those are the requirements. Have a bachelor's degree. If you have 2 years of experience, you can get a better package, and I'll talk about that here shortly. But yeah, so those are my qualifications. Bachelor's, master's, a year of experience. That's it. Okay, so as far as packages are concerned, my package offered me a certain salary and I get health insurance. They flew me here, and when my contract is over, I'll get 1 month of my salary in addition to my last check, and then they will also reimburse me for my flight home. That's it. There are many other packages and there are many other places where if you have more than a year experience, then you can get housing taken care of. You can get round trip flights back home. But I work for the Ministry of Education, and so there are certain things and certain packages that I wouldn't be able to get no matter how many years of experience I had. But just be on the lookout. If you have a certain amount of experience, you can get a really nice package. You can get fully furnished accommodation. You can get transportation to and from your school. You might even be able to get some meals while you're at school, get those once a year round trip flights. You might be able to get a stipend to decorate your house if you come and your apartment's not furnished. Like, there are a lot of things that you can get outside of just your paycheck, your flight, and your health insurance. But with what I make here, I figured that it didn't matter if I got all those extra things because I'm already making almost double what I was making as a first-year teacher in Oklahoma. So, I mean, just weigh your options. And also, I'm a single person. I didn't come with kids, but I feel like somebody's gonna ask me that. If you have kids, you can go through the whole process of trying to get them visas and everything, and they will help you with that. There's some tuition grants for them to go to school out here. Like, there's a whole world of help depending on your situation. Now, if you were single, but you have a boyfriend, that's not happening. Just shut it down. I'm so sorry, love. He can't come. He can't come. That's it. My contract is 2 years, and if I want to renew it, I can. You basically just stay and keep teaching. Or before your contract ends, you let them know, like, once my contract ends, that's gonna be it, and I'm gonna go home, whatever it is that you decide to do. You can end your contract early if for some reason it's not working out, but I haven't really noticed too many people doing that out here. Like, pretty much everyone that I've come here with, when we all landed together, they're all still here. So you're not just stuck and trapped. You can go home if you want for a fee. Ask me about that if you truly want to know, but you shouldn't. As far as packing and what I was able to bring, and sorry, I'm looking at my little listy. As far as packing and what I was able to bring, I was able to bring 2 suitcases that were 50 pounds or under. I brought a backpack, and I had like a little purse bag, and then I also had a blanket, I had a neck pillow for the plane. So that was all that I ended up coming here with, and that was enough. When I go home, I can switch out some things that I have, and it'll be like shopping in my own closet because I've been wearing the same stuff for 7 months. But there's tons of malls out here. If you've never heard of the Dubai Mall, then I don't know how you thought you were gonna come live here, because it's a huge thing. It's huge, it's massive. Can't even see it all in one day. Getting on the plane is fine because they give you your flight here. So you just get your boarding ticket. Like, I remember I just kept saying it was like a Monday or something, and I was like, I know I'm gonna get my tickets tomorrow, I know it. And then on that Tuesday, I got my tickets, and they were like, you're leaving Friday. So I had to hurry up and have all my stuff packed. And then you just print out your boarding pass and your visa paperwork and everything that they've given you, and you just make sure you have multiple copies, and then you just go to the airport and you get on your plane, and that's it. So getting all the way here was really easy. When I got here, I had to go through customs. They wanted to stamp my passport right. When I got to the hotel, one of my bags had been opened and checked, which is fine. I didn't bring anything that I wasn't supposed to, and there is a list, so check the list, especially if you have certain medications, because you can't bring it to this country. So just do your research and check, but getting on the plane and getting here was fine. When I got here, there was somebody waiting for me, and he was picking up a bunch of other people as well. So I had already started making friends when I first got here. I had to get an, what is it called? A little chip, an SD card to go into my phone so that I could have a phone while I was here. And that was a tourist one, so I think it was good for 2 weeks. And then you needed to go to the mall, and you can up your minutes and your data and all of that. So they took us to do that, and it was just right at a gate, right outside of the, when you get off of the airport, you come, and they have like all these different places selling you these SD cards, and they're free. You just have to pay to put stuff on it and all of that, so you can check out those packages. So we did that. We waited for everybody's flight to land. We put our luggage on one truck, and then we all got on this bus, and we're all talking, and oh my God, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Get to the hotel. The hotel was lovely. It was the Royal Rose in Abu Dhabi. I'll put a video of that on here if you want to see it, because I took a video of my room, and it was so wonderful. It was so lovely. If I could live in the hotel, I would. 5-star hotel. It was absolutely gorgeous. So that's pretty much how it went from being on the plane to getting here. What else? So as far as getting placed for your school, you get placed at the end of the teacher training program if that's what you do. You don't get to pick where you're going to be. So like I was saying in the beginning, there are 7 Emirates, but you don't get to pick where you are. A lot of my friends are in Abu Dhabi, they're in Al Ain, some are in Fujairah, some are in Dubai, some of us are here in Ras Al Khaimah, some of us are in Sharjah. So there are a lot of us, a lot of different places, and you don't get to pick. So don't have your like hopes set on one place. Just have your hopes set on this country, because the country in itself is the same, and you can get to any of the other Emirates. It's a very small place if you've seen it on a map. It's not even like as big as the state of Texas, I don't think. So it's not gonna take you that long to get from one side of the country to the other if you wanna go on an adventure or if you have friends somewhere. So just, keep your eyes open, your mind open to where maybe you'll be placed. As far as what schools are like, all schools are different, just like in the States, just like in any country. All of the schools are different, and this is the Ministry of Education, so these are public schools. So you can already think about what is a public school like versus a private school. I work in a very small area in Fujairah, like way in the mountains. So think about what a mountain school is going to be like versus a school in the city in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. So all of the schools are different. I can talk more about my school experience if you'd like to hear about that. But it just kind of depends. As long as you're a good teacher and you've got good command and control of your classroom, you're not going to have any problems. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. They're going to love you, okay? It's going to be fine, right? Just make sure that you know how to control your classroom. You've got great classroom management. And then that's the list. That's all you need. So cost of living kind of ties into that also. It depends on where you live. So I live in Ras Al Khaimah. I commute an hour to work. So I drive an hour to work and I drive an hour back home by choice, because I didn't want to live in Fujairah. I wanted to live here. It was a good choice for me. I am able to save a lot more money than if I lived in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, because all of my friends are on the same amount of money, but the cost of living is higher there. So because I live here, I'm able to save up more money and send more money home for the bills that I have at home. So cost of living, I mean, I'll just tell you, my salary is 16,000 dirhams and that includes everything. So I pay for my rent, my car, which I'm gonna talk about that next, you know, my groceries, anything that I need. It's like any regular job, right? They give you your paycheck and they give you health insurance, and whatever else it is that you decide to do with your money is what you do. So, you know, that's that. If you want me to talk about accommodation in another video, let me know and I will, because that's a whole thing. As far as saving money goes, you can get a savings account here. When we first got here and we were at the Royal Rose, we had to open up a bank account and we got credit cards. Some people had come from countries and they never had a credit card, but us in America, we know about credit cards, we know. So I was already prepared for that, and I had come over with credit cards. Oh, I should talk about that. Yeah, with saving money. So you can open up a savings account here, and then I still have my account at home from America. So when I need to send money home, I just send it from bank to bank. It does cost money, but you know, it is what it is. Send money from bank to bank so I can still pay for the things that I have at home. And my salary is tax-free. So the money that they give me is the money that they give me. It's not like you make this much an hour, but we're taking out all of these different taxes, so you don't actually get that much in your check. I get my 16,000 every month, faithfully, once a month. And that's it, that's all there is to it. So saving money, they tell you that when you come here, you need to come with at least 1 month of money. I would say come here with 6 grand. And that sounds crazy, but I would come here with at least 6 grand. If you don't have it in cash, have it in space on a credit card, because they give you a week in a hotel, but then you gotta find a place to stay. If you're like me and you're in the trainer program, you gotta find a place to stay for that next 4 weeks. You've gotta find a way to get to and from the place that you're training at if you don't rent a car immediately. And like I said, I'll get to that. What we did was 3 girls plus me, we shared a 2-bedroom apartment, and we each had 2 beds in each room. And we knew it was only for 30 days, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But for us to not have a paycheck yet, because we didn't get paid for 2 months. That's why I say bring so much. So we all lived together, and we made our housing a little bit cheaper just by all of us living together. And it was fine because we were all going to the same place for training and coming back home. We all went out together, like it was fine. It was absolutely fine. So we did that, and then 14 of us, I think it was 14 of us, it might have been more than that. We hired someone to drive us to our training place, and there were like 4 or 5 stops where we went and picked up people and then dropped people off at the end of the day. So that's kind of how we made our transportation and our housing work, so that we didn't have to pay so much, like trying to take a taxi 30 minutes to get to the training center, because that just wasn't going to be possible financially for me. So come with as much money as you can so that you're not stressed out by the idea of not being paid for those first 2 months. They just have to go through the process and getting your bank account set up and making sure that you're going to stay, getting your actual contract signed. Like, there's just a lot of legal things and red tape behind it all. That's why it takes so long. But then when you do get paid, you get 2 full months of pay, and you know, that's it. So, you know, you're happy. As far as a driving license, if you have a United States driving license, then when you come here, you can still drive. For those first few weeks before you get your Emirates ID, which is your residence card that says you are a resident here, you can just drive and rent a car with your United States driving license. But once you get your Emirates ID, you have to change it over and you have to get your driver's license here, which it just costs money. I think it cost me like $300 or something like that. You just have to pay to convert it. If you have a license from somewhere else, you're gonna need to look up and see what it is that you need to do, because some people that I know have had to take classes regardless if they have their license, because they don't accept that country's driving license. So just research it. But if you have a US driving license, then you just have to pay to get it transferred over. You can buy a car if you know stuff about cars and you plan on staying here for more than 2 years, or you just are knowledgeable about cars and you don't mind buying a car and selling it, then do that. They have a lot of really affordable cars here. I don't know anything about buying a car or maintaining a car, or where am I gonna go for maintenance, or who can I talk to about these things. So I rented a car, And I rented from Diamond Lease. I don't recommend it if you're driving an hour like me, because I had to pay more for more kilometers because there was a limit. But teachers get deals and discounts, and usually they get unlimited mileage depending on the company that you go with. So I recommend that you rent. I pay a little less than $400 a month for my vehicle and for my insurance. They do all of the maintenance and I just have to put gas in it. So I think, and obviously this is the country of oil, so gas is really like $10 or $12 for me to fill up my whole tank. So I think that it was just more beneficial for me that way. My car payment at home that I'm still paying for a car that I'm not driving is $270, plus I pay insurance for it while it's sitting to, you know, be covered if something happens to it while it's just sitting there. So I felt like $400 a month for me to have a car with insurance fully on it is just not that bad. It's not that bad of a deal. It was a deal, I took it. But when I take my car back after the 6 months, I'll get something that has unlimited kilometers, so then I can travel all over the Emirates and not have any problems. But other transportation, if you live in places like Abu Dhabi or Dubai, they have the train system, like we call it a light rail in Denver. I don't know what it's called anywhere else, sorry. But we have the train system, and we also have just like regular transportation. Like there are buses that you can take. There are taxis everywhere. There's taxis everywhere. So there's a lot of different forms of transportation. Where we were living in Abu Dhabi when I first got here, you could just walk to the mall. If you watch my Snapchat, shout out to you if you don't follow my Snapchat, but you would see that I was walking to the mall every single day, and there's a grocery store in every single mall. There's grocery stores on every corner. So just because you don't have a car doesn't mean you're going to be without. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna know someone who's going to your school, so you guys can try to carpool and figure it out. But a lot of places are just walkable. I live in a more rural area, like towards the mountains on the West Coast. So I don't really do a lot of walking places because nothing's really near me. But in Abu Dhabi and Dubai and places like that, you can walk anywhere. You can take the train, bus, anywhere, and that's really cheap too. So you have a lot of different options for transportation. Life here as an expat is great. There's like 80% of expats here. I think it might be even 85%. Everywhere you look, you will see some Emirate people, but they kind of stay in their homes and stick to themselves in the area that I'm in, just because it's so small and more towards the mountains, out of the way of the cities. But in the cities, you'll see everybody from everywhere doing everything. You can pretty much wear what you want for the most part to a certain extent, and you can still have your same kind of life. There's grocery stores everywhere, and they have all kinds of food that you've seen before. If you're me and you watch like MasterChef and Food Network all the time, then you're not surprised at the things that they have at the grocery stores. It's all things that you've seen. There's a lot of things imported into this country. Even alcohol. They do have alcohol here. It does get imported into this country. There are laws about it, but they still have all of the things that you're used to. Making friends is so easy. When you first get here, there's a million of you on a bus. There's a ton of you. The whole hotel is filled with all these new teachers, and you just make all these new acquaintances and then start developing these friendships. So you do not have to be lonely whatsoever when you first get here. And if you're outgoing and friendly, you'll make friends with people at the grocery store, at the mall, at the brunch, at the beach, at the ladies' nights. You will meet people everywhere. Okay, so it's very easy to make friends, and there's lots of things to do in lots of different places. Like Ras Al Khaimah, I think, has the longest zip line. Dubai has the tallest building and that big mall. Abu Dhabi has a ton of nightlife, and so does Dubai. Like, there's a lot of different things to do for a lot of different types of people, whether it's parasailing or jet skis or just being at the beach or just lounging around, or if you want to go to prayer, go see the mosques, go sand dune buggying, whatever, camping in the desert, barbecues in the desert safari, water parks. You know, they have it all. They have anything for everyone. There's a ton of stuff to do. Like, I'll put in another video, a tour of my apartment. I overlook the beach. Like, the beach is a 5-minute walk away. So I mean, there's everything. There's everything everywhere. There's a ton of food. And let me tell you about the loveliness here. Let me tell you. So in my apartment, there is a tiny little grocery store. It's kind of like a 7-Eleven. And as long as I spend over like $3 or $5, they will deliver me whatever it is that I want for free. Who you know delivering stuff for free in America? I'll wait. Who you know? Groceries? Who you know? You don't. Takeaways, there's a ton of takeaways on a lot of different apps, like takeout food. McDonald's, they have so many different foods that are American here that I was just like, what? They have TGI Fridays, they have Church's Chicken, they have Pizza Hut, Popeyes, McDonald's, KFC, they have Red Lobster, they have Famous Dave's, they have all types of things that you would be like, what's that doing here? Then they also have things that are like Indian, like chicken biryani, and they have Chinese food, and they have Arabic food, and they have Lebanese food, and they have everything. They even have pho. Now, if you know me, you know good know some pho. They have pho. And a lot of it you can get delivered for free, or for $1, or for $2. Who you know doing that in the States? Who you know? No one. You don't know anyone doing that, okay? I don't. The last thing I want to talk to you about is staying positive, okay? You can't come over here with a negative mindset and things are not going to go the way that you want. They're just not. You're in a whole different country, and no matter what they tell you the process is, there may be some tweaks, some changes, some unsettling things, just things that you have to get used to. And that's why you left your country. You wanted to go somewhere new. You wanted to experience something different. You wanted to just have a new type of life, so you got it. You left, you came, you got it. So just be positive, be excited. Remember why you're here. I remember I used to wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, jet lag. I would be up all night, 5:30 in the morning. You can hear the call to prayer. That's beautiful. You don't hear anything like that in America. Anywhere, nowhere, ever. It was beautiful. Like, be positive, be thankful. I would just wake up and we would go on this 30-minute bus ride with no air conditioning, and I would just be like, oh my God, I'm in a whole other country. Like, can you believe it? I'm in a whole other country and I live here. Like, I did it. I came here. I'm doing it. How many people you know doing this? And don't say, oh, well, you know, that's what we went to school for. Obviously, duh. But how many people you know in your hometown that want to leave their country and have a new life? Like, just be positive, be happy, be grateful, be excited, right? Be excited. You did this. Yeah, I'm happy. I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm so happy to be here. You can't tell. So that's it. That's my 2 cents. I just know there's a million things I did not cover, but if you have those questions, please link them below. Follow my social media. I'll put it down in the description bar for you, okay? And I'll keep it updated. I'll put those room tours on here too. Okay.